just finished the conversation between our president. We received two representatives of the American president of Donald Trump, Steve Witkoff, as you know, and Yuri Kushner. The conversation was quite useful, it was constructive, it was quite substantive, and it went on not for 5 minutes, but for 5 hours. So they had the opportunity to discuss in detail the prospects of the future joint efforts to accomplish the long-term peaceful resolution of the Ukrainian crisis. Of course, we discussed with our American colleagues the contents of the draft of the document that the Americans handed over to Moscow some time ago. So we looked into these documents. We did not discuss the wording or the concrete suggestions, but we spoke about the core substance of the things that are stipulated in these American documents. Some things we criticized, and the president did not hide the critical attitude towards some of the proposals. But the most important thing that we had a useful discussion, and once again, I would like to emphasize that the most important thing that the parties declared their willingness to continue the joint effort to achieve the long-term peaceful resolution in Ukraine. Summit between Presidents Trump and Putin planned in the near future. We agreed that at the level of envoys, or the level of assistants and advisors, we will continue to maintain contacts with the Americans, in particular with these two persons that arrived to the Kremlin today. As for the possible summit at the presidential level, it will depend on the progress we will be able to make on this track. How hard we work, how well we work at this level of the advisors, of the assistants. We discussed the territorial issues, without which we do not believe there could be a resolution to this conflict. And of course, we also discussed the great opportunities for the future economic cooperation between the two countries. And we spoke at length about this at the previous meetings as well. But this time we emphasized that if we truly want to cooperate, if we truly want to work together, there is a vast potential for this, and we need to show the real willingness to do this both in Moscow and in Washington. So it was a very useful, very good conversation. And of course, it started with, you said we agreed with something, we did not agree to other things. So could you say what things did we agree with? We agreed with our American counterparts that we are not going to reveal the gist, the essence of the talks that we've just had, which is only natural because these talks were held behind the closed doors. They were classified, they were confidential. And from what I know, our American counterparts now went to the American embassy and they will report to Washington. And then they will continue, they will brief President Trump personally what they discussed with President Putin. Well, of course, our president spoke about his assessment of the destructive actions that we see the Europeans perform. Do you think the positions became closer after these talks, or so they drifted further away? Well, we did not drifted further away from each other, that's for sure, but there is still a lot of work to be done by both Moscow and Washington. And of course, we will continue with the contacts, as I've mentioned earlier. They did not promise that they will go to Kiev. They said they will go back home to Washington, D.C. Kushner is a new person for these talks. Yes, one can say that he's a new participant of these talks, new person at these talks, but he worked quite fruitfully. So with Witkoff in the Middle East and the agreement on Gaza, it was done not only by Witkoff or by other American envoys, but by Mr. Kushner as well, of course. And already some time ago, he has joined the Russian, American, and Ukrainian dossier, and from what I understand, he participated actively in drafting those documents that were handed over to. For the timeline, our colleagues now will travel back home. We will all discuss all the matters that we've covered today, and I believe they will then reach out to us by phone, and then we will continue with our discussions. Thank you.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app now.